Hey everybody, it's a Review Revolution, welcoming you back to the next in the Green Lantern week here on the Review Revolution. For anyone who doesn't know, we're going to be taking this entire week to break down the DC Universe Classics 75 Years of Superpower Green Lantern's Light box set. And it's going to be 5 days of 5 lanterns. Now, looking at the pack, you probably noticed that one of them's missing. That's because we've already gone ahead and taken a look at Mr. Hal Jordan, and we're going to go ahead and tackle our second lantern for the week tonight. Who's that going to be? Well, you have to stick around and find out. But before we get into all that, let's get a quick look at the packaging, kind of have some fun with it. As I mentioned, or as I should have mentioned, this is the Walmart exclusive. Much like the Gotham Knights 5-pack, this is only available at Walmarts. Pretty hard to find around my Walmart right now. I just have not been able to track it down. Normally, Walmart restocks on Tuesdays, but nothing so far. The packaging, this is the first box set that's come out that utilizes the kind of side panels with the characters, and it's very large, so I can't really give you a shot of what it looks all the way up at the top here. But just like on the new Wave 12 and 13 sets, Batman, Hal Jordan, Lex Luthor, Firestorm, Giganta, going all the way down on the side here. And of course, this has Superman, Joker, Wonder Woman, Sinestro, going all the way down with the characters here. And then no separate portraits in the background like with the old packaging. It just has kind of this radiating light from the back, which is very much in the style of the regular single card or the Wave packages, but very appropriate with the Green Lantern. It is a very nice touch. Do like it. It's very, very cool. With Hal Jordan done, it means that the 4 figures that are left are Tomari, Sinestro, John Stewart, and Guy Gardner. So very iconic, very notable characters from the comic series. Speaking of which, when we do look at the back, there is the Green Lantern Corps, collector's item premiere issue of the Green Lantern Corps. DC Green Lantern versus Green Lantern. The versus, Green Lantern versus. That was a very familiar logo that they had at the top for Green Lantern back in the 60s and so forth. Here we have the kind of second series, the rebirth. Actually, Emerald Dawn was the 6-part. There's 6 out of 6. The 6-part miniseries that led to the rebirth of Hal Jordan, and then ultimately, his madness and subsequent return in the more modern comics. But actually, I like this because you can really see how comics have kind of developed. From the pulp pages of, very basic kind of ink work and just kind of conveying the style, to something a little bit nicer. Well, a little bit nicer, way into, almost commissioned artwork for some of these. Modern day comic books, every panel is almost a commissioned piece of artwork. It's no wonder they cost as much as they do, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah, DC Comics 75 years, DC Universe up at the top, and the very appropriate and brightest day and blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light. As I said before, I'm not going to read the bios on all of them. We'll first see who's going to be the next Emerald Knight to come out of the box, and then we'll read his bio when we get the figure open. So stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Alright, everybody. Thanks for sticking around. Tonight, we're going to take a look at the traitor to the Corps, Sinestro. Sinestro was chosen to patrol Space Sector 1417 as the Green Lantern, but instead he ruled Karugar with an emerald fist. While he trained fledgling Green Lantern Hal Jordan, the Kragarians freed themselves and exposed Sinestro's abuse of power. The Guardians of the Universe stripped Sinestro of his mantle and the power ring. Subsequently banished him to the antimatter universe of Koward. And there he got his yellow ring and became the Bane of the Green Lantern. Now, a little more background on that. During the time that Sinestro was a yellow ring wearer and the only one that was out there, at one point the Guardians decided that they needed to leave. They needed to go away. So they left this universe, and the Green Lanterns continue to do their thing, and they subsequently did capture Sinestro, and without the Guardian Council, did actually find him guilty and sentence him to death. And Hal Jordan was part of that execution squad, killing Sinestro. He did come back. He was revived by the Guardians as a last-ditch effort to protect the power battery from the crazed or kind of unstable Hal Jordan. So it was kind of an interesting issue where Sinestro actually shows up fighting on the side of the Guardians. It's very cool. I love that issue. Of course, later he got his Sinestro core, and the whole Blackest Night story came to be. Current status, not 100% sure, but this is where it all started, as a Green Lantern. Now, Sinestro was originally released in the Solomon Grundy wave with the Hal Jordan, and he did actually come in his black and blue kind of classic suit, as well as the yellow Sinestro Corps outfit. That's how you knew Sinestro Corps was going to be something serious, that they actually did that and didn't even bother to put him in a Green Lantern outfit. If you're like me, though, and happen to get a Sinestro, a spare Sinestro, and you bought the single-carded Hal Jordan figures, well, then you probably took a moment and popped off the heads so that you would get a Green Lantern Corps Sinestro. And that's all they really did here, was they just went ahead, took the Green Lantern body, and popped on the Sinestro head. Exact same thing. Biggest difference, though, is that the body that comes with the individually carded Hal Jordans is actually done a little bit nicer. Just taking a look at the color first off, you can see that the boots on the single carded figure, nice deep green. Not to say that I guess I shouldn't say nicer, but it's certainly a darker green. Whereas the one that comes in this 5-pack is much lighter. The black, pretty much the same kind of black. Body, everything on the mold is the same. And then ultimately the exact same head. Which, if you look at him and think that it's kind of small, no, it's not just you. The Sinestro figure was smaller. The head is a little bit smaller on the figure, on this particular body. Same thing when you look at the green here, darker green, much richer. The Green Lantern symbol has the black background and a very nice application of white, which we've already talked about with Hal Jordan. On this Sinestro, on this body, much more washed out green, much fainter Green Lantern Corps with no outline. So, chances are, if you haven't already kind of made your own custom Sinestro, this is a good one to have, but I would still recommend popping off this head and seeing if you can track down one of the bodies from the single-carded Hal Jordan, because that's all that one really was. One other thing to point out that I noticed is that on the back of these figures, you can see here there is the square peg that a cape would have fit in. A cape for a Superman or a Batman. Here, on the back, though you can very faintly make it out, this is actually a solid piece of plastic. The entire upper torso is a solid piece. So they didn't reuse parts that they already had. In fact, it looks like they remolded or took a remold of the upper body that is for just kind of jumpsuit characters, just kind of bodysuit characters. On his face, exact same face. Only difference being that I guess the one from the Solomon Grundy wave looks a little more fleshy. This one is a little plasticky. This one, to me, just a little more fleshy. Still has, two different color pinks. This one just looks a little more fleshy, looks a little bit nicer. The one from the 5-pack looks a little more flat, not quite as nice, but that's so ever minor. I mean, considering the time frame that these were put out, I mean, you're going to expect some differences. But still very nice, great paint job, looks really good. I love the Sinestro sneer he's got. And a mustache. Not enough mustached heroes or villains out there. So, very cool to get Sinestro. The articulation, the head does twist. And, of course, because it comes from an earlier wave, just like Hal Jordan, does go up and down. Shoulder comes up, out, twist. Twist to the bicep, elbow, and wrist. Twist to the waist and the crunch. Legs come up, out, twist to the thigh, knee, and foot. As I pointed out with the Hal Jordan, the ring that comes on Sinestro, this is actually more of a metallic green color, which is good because even though this is a good opportunity for them to do some Green Lantern constructs, give us some new constructs, the only thing they gave us was the remold of the familiar Green Lantern, the actual lantern itself, just done in nice shiny metallic plastic. One or two of them would have been good, but each lantern in this pack has it. So it's going to get old real quick. As I was saying, it's something where if you already have a Sinestro, maybe a spare Sinestro, if you can get a loose one like I did, and you can take one of the bodies from the single-carded Hal Jordan, you'd probably come up with a superior figure in the end. But if not, it's nice to see that they did take time to do a Green Lantern Sinestro to kind of go with the other two, which I don't have, but once I do, yeah, I'll have them all posed together, and we'll have a chronology of Sinestro as well. For now, though, I certainly thank everybody for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, join the revolution, and keep watching because Green Lantern Week continues. Bye-bye.